Hello everyone, it's Anum here, and for today's video we're gonna take a look at the verbal issues in intercultural communication that takes place in the scene from the movie The Terminal. Without wasting any more time, let's get straight into it.
Well, we have laws here that protect aliens who have a credible fear of returning to their own country. If we can establish this fear with you, then the CBP will be forced to begin expedited removal procedures, bring you to an immigration judge, and let you plead your case for asylum.
Asylum?
Asylum. Unfortunately, the courts are so backed up with asylum cases that the soonest you get before a judge would probably be 6 months from now.
Yes, and we would have no choice but to let you go for those 6 months. It's the law. You'd be released.
Right. You would be free to wait in New York until your court date. But believe it or not, most people, they never show up before the judge.
So I go New York City?
You can go to New York City tonight. But you only get to go if we can establish a credible fear.
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 From what?
Well, that's the best part. It doesn't really matter what you're afraid of. It's all the same to Uncle Sam, okay? So I'm going to ask you one question, Victor, and it's a simple question. And if you give me the correct answer, I can get you out of this airport tonight.
So I answer one question. Go to New York City tonight.
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 Tonight. Okay.
Okay, all right. Do you, at this time, have any fear of returning to your own country?
No.
Okay. Let me try it again. Your country's at war, Victor.
Yes,
Okay.
a lot.
There are men in the streets with guns. Political persecution.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. And God only knows what could happen, right? Innocent people are torn from their beds and thrown into jail. Right?
On Tuesdays.
Yeah,
I had Tuesdays.
Yes, it's hard. So you're afraid.
From what?
Krakosia. You're afraid of Krakosia.
Krakosia? No, I'm not afraid from Krakosia. I'm a little afraid of this room.
Okay. I'm talking about bombs. I'm talking about human dignity. I'm talking about human rights. Victor, please don't be afraid to tell me that you're afraid of Krakosia.
His home. I'm not afraid from my home. So, I go to New York City now?
So right from the beginning, we can tell that English is not Victor's native tongue. In this scene, Frank Dixon, which is the airport's customs director, is trying to convince Victor to admit that he is simply afraid of returning to his home country, Krakosia, due to the war, so that he could qualify as someone who is seeking asylum in the United States. However, when asked if he was afraid, Victor simply answered no, making it impossible for Dixon to sign the necessary documents. This is an example of pragmatics in a language. What is pragmatics? Pragmatics is basically the study of how a language is used based on a certain situation or context. Things like intention, double meaning, sarcasm, tonations, and volume are all related to pragmatics. For example, if someone were to come up to me and say, well, if it isn't unknown, as someone who speaks English, I would understand that this person is simply greeting me and implying that we haven't seen each other in a very long time. However, if it was someone like Victor, he might not immediately understand the phrase. And he might respond with something like, but it is me. What are you talking about? What's wrong with you? So, in this scene, Victor took their statement too literally, believing that as long as he answered the question, he would be allowed entry to New York. As a non-English speaker, Victor did not understand the purpose and meaning behind the question and what it has to do with the situation at hand. So he did not fully comprehend the concept of the procedure that would have simply allowed him to freely roam the United States until they decide an official date for the trial. When denied access to leave the airport, Victor tries to clarify his other fears. His fears like his fear of ghosts, his fears like his fear of the Dracula and Wolfman. He simply believed that all he had to do was be afraid of something to get out. Clearly, he knows the simple definition and pronunciation of fear, but only understanding those two things without fully knowing the context of the conversation at hand is not enough. Without pragmatics, Victor couldn't tell the specific purpose of the conversation he was having with Dixon, which only ended in frustration for both parties. Until next time, see you in the next video.